Hey everybody, what's going on? Buddy Blackford here with another After Effects CS6 tutorial, and today I want to talk to you about compound effects. And now I've been getting more and more into different effects lately in our tutorials, so we can figure out how to use them, and so you can know what you might want to use when you're when you're trying to figure out actually how to create a certain look and all that stuff. So now I want to get into compound effects, because they're a little bit different than just normal effects in the fact that you need another layer to have them work properly. So for example, I've got this compound effect on here called compound blur, and they don't all say compound in the name, just this one does. So we have to create a map or use like an alpha channel or something like that, another layer, to be able to get this blur to work. So if I have none on it, nothing's gonna work. But I created this map here that I'll show you later, where we can select that and use it as like another blur, or I can use something else if I would like to, and it'll blur out depending on what you've got going on. So this tutorial might last a couple videos, because there's a few effects that I want to show you that are pretty cool, and or I'll just put it into like a little series here and we'll see what happens. So I guess the first one I'm just going to show you is compound blur. So I'm just going to delete out everything I have except for this text and take off this logo. So all I did was just took some text and wrote compound blur a bunch of times and stretched it out, and I'll just stretch it out even further, so it's like going across the whole screen. Let's go out. There we go. So now it's stretching across the whole entire thing, and the reason why I want to do that is because the map that I'm going to be making is the same size as my composition. So what I'm going to do is, let's go into our project panel here, and we're going to figure out what our composition size is. So let's go into composition settings, and we've got a 1280 by 720 size composition, frame rate 24, and square pixels, so that's fine. And just remember that, so when you're making your new pre-comps that we're going to have to make and everything like that, that everything looks and is the same size, because it'll be a little weird if it isn't. So let's we're going to create a new layer, and the compound blur effect is created by using alpha channel colors, so a grayscale image, to determine what's going to be blurred and what isn't. So we're going to create a white solid here. We'll just name this blur white, and make sure it's the correct composition size. And if you want to do it quickly, just click on this make comp size button right here and hit OK. Now we've got this going on here. We're gonna take this rectangle tool, and we're gonna draw a couple boxes. So if you click on the rectangle tool and make sure you're not clicked on your white layer, you'll get this fill button here, and you can make that black. And let's just draw a couple black boxes going across like this. That's good. So we've got that going on. We've got this. Now we have a shape layer and this white layer here. We want these both in the same, like, actual one layer, so that we can we can select the one layer in the compound effect called compound blur, because you can only select one layer. So what we're going to do that is pre-compose these into one layer. So we're going to double click on both of them, right click on it, and go to pre-compose. Now I talked about pre-comps in a earlier tutorial, which was only a couple back, so check that out if you're not familiar with pre-composing. So I'm going to name this blur map and hit OK. Blur map is a good kind of name for this. So it describes your effect that you're using it for and what it is. And this is a map that we're going to use. It's going to map the black and white images for the blur. So hit OK. Now we've got blur map in here. Now we can turn the eye for that off so we can see what's going on. We're going to come to our text layer and we're going to put on our compound blur. So I'm going to type it in over here on the right, compound, there we go. Let's drag it onto our actual text. And now we've got the compound blur here. Now what we need to do is select this blur layer here and put it onto our blur map. And now you can see that the blur map has been affected on here. So it's taking the white and it's using that to blur out what we have on our text layer. So it is pretty sweet there. So let's go to our maximum blur here, and that'll just like, that's your blur slider value there. So it decreases and increases the blur. You can see it's not like really precise, so you're gonna have to probably like type in your values and stuff like that. So I don't know, like 5.3 or something like that. You're gonna have to type that stuff in to get more precise. So we've got a stretch map to fit, and since this is a whole comp size, we don't need to stretch it out. And then we've got our invert here if you want to use the blacks for the blur and the white for the non-blurred area. So that's how you invert. Now this blur map, if we go back into it, also works with the gray values. So if I go to make a couple more shape layers in here and make them gray, and just throw them in here somewhere in between, just remember that this one right here in the middle, a couple, 1, 2, 3, 4 over, that's a gray value. If we go into our effects, so let's go into our compound blur effect. We've got the gray value right here. It's not as strong as the black, so that's good. Let me turn that on. As you can see there, let me turn the opacity of this down. We can kind of see how they're like lining up, as you guys can see there. So that's how you use that effect, and that's how you use compound effects there. There's a couple other that I'm probably going to show you. One's distort, and I made a cool video with water droplets where the when the water moved, it distorted the words, so I had to use the water video footage as the distortion. And then there's a couple other ones that I'm gonna go over. I haven't decided which all of them that I'm gonna go over yet, but then I mean, I'll just make the video. I hate when I do that. Sometimes when you click on it, this happens like all the time to me. And then you just drag it back up to where it's supposed to be. That happens. If that ever happens to you, just swear and then grab it and put it back up there, because it'll make you feel better if you swear at it. So that's all I'm gonna say for this tutorial. Thanks for watching this one, and keep watching to check out the next other compound effects that I'm going to bring up, and subscribe if you want some more After Effects videos. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one.